Hey, everybody. Barb Dunn. I'm here with Judith Rosenberg. We're starting our podcast today, Keeping Locals Local, and our special guest is Heather Grizzard. Hi, Heather.
Hi.
Hi. So, I don't know if any of you are familiar with Heather, but she is doing so many things. I can't wait to hear. It's not just one, it's not just two. It's probably 4 or 5 now. Tell us more. What are you doing?
Well, right now I'm actually trying to narrow in my focus. So I have been doing a ton of things. At the beginning of this year, I had 0 partners, and then after Squad Up, I suddenly had 4. So
Nice.
yeah, it ended up being a lot. So I'm just like reevaluating everything and seeing like where to narrow in my focus. And I think it's really coming down to like AI. And automations, and then self-storage, and a new one that I'm focusing on because it supports everything. It supports my Mount Everest is land.
Oh, wow. Nice. Huh. Land all 50 states or specific state?
All 50 states. I just want to get into that game. And I mean, specifically, probably starting more locally, which is for me is Atlanta. Just because I know the market and I know a lot of investors here.
Yeah.
What is your Mount Everest?
So that's something I'm still defining, but I do have a vision for it, and it's to provide hope for the people who have lost hope by creating a community of transitional housing for families who are going through difficult times. So what I want to do is like create a village of like about 30 houses, just small, like not RVs, not tiny houses, but like maybe about 1,000 square foot houses that would be perfect for a family of 3 to 5. That if they are just not able to qualify for Section 8 or a lot of the government programs, because there are families that are falling through the cracks there, then this would be a place for them.
Wow.
In the Atlanta area to start?
What?
In the Atlanta area to start with?
Yeah, to start with. I have some connections here with some nonprofits that would be able to keep an ear to the ground for families in need that fall into that bucket.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're doing too, is and buyers first. So, same thing, those connections. When you mentioned land, a good friend of mine, Julie Giacola, she's in Florida. She did land. I'm not sure if she still is, but she's a good contact. She's an owner. She's wonderful. She's great. She's the one that we were trying to buy those cabins up in Stanley. I partnered with her. And Judith partnered, and so she's a good contact. I know she was doing multiple states, so that might be somebody to reach out to.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then as far as, didn't you mention though that you're making a class for operators? Isn't that what's that about?
I mean, that's kind of falls under the AI and automations bucket. So, so I actually am teaching a semester starting September 8th is the first day, and it's going to be on AI automations and systems. And it'll be a 6-week class that just goes over the 5 kind of areas that you can focus on, which is we are building it into a stack framework. So systems, team, automations, cognition or AI, and then to keep scaling. So it's the intro week and then going over each of those. But one thing so this is going to be like basic, super foundational level. And like most of the community, as you guys know, is visionaries. So it's going to be a way for visionaries to be able to get in and kind of wrap their head around, what their business needs as far as AI and automations. Now, what I want to build that I think what you're thinking of is actually an academy specifically for integrators. So it'd be a lot more in-depth, a lot more technical, and it would prepare people to be able to be a better integrator or to work with visionaries, or even like if they're thinking about being an integrator, to be able to monetize their skills.
Nice. That's great. Wow. A lot going on. So you're in Delaware. So you're in Delaware now at April Elias's house and hanging out with her, working on something fun, I'm sure. or not, just hanging out with her. I'm sure it's great. she's
kind of hanging out. So we had our workshop this past weekend in Atlanta. So that went really well. We keep those really small because, and this one turned out amazing. We were able to take each person's business, whiteboard it out, and every single person in there walked away with an action plan for their business to better incorporate AI and systems into what they currently have.
Well, that's valuable.
Boy.
They're glad they came.
Wow.
Yeah, that's been my dream for these workshops, is for people to actually be able to build something while they're in the room. And I think we were able to pull it off this weekend. So it was really awesome. And we've had some really good feedback. So we're already planning the next one, and it'll be in October.
That was actually something I wanted to ask you about, was comparing the workshop model to a consulting model in terms of adding value to people's businesses and in terms of a financial strategy. How would you compare them?
Well, it's two completely different things, because so consulting is where you're talking at somebody, but a workshop is where they can actually do things while you're helping them, because they're in the room. Like, there's just something about being in the room, from what I found. Like, if you are really struggling to understand a concept, you can ask questions in real time, and it's just a lot more impactful than just being over a Zoom. And for something that's like AI and automations, it's difficult for a lot of people. And just, knowing how to map out their business or overcoming some mental hurdle that they have. Like, one person was combining two different business models into one. So like, okay, how do I build out this funnel? So it's like, wait, you're trying to like combine things into a little bit of like spaghetti. So let's take a step back, separate them out, and geez, how that added so much clarity to what she's doing, and she's going to focus on only one of those and build that out. Wow. So I think, and then consulting, I mean, it would be the same thing, but it's like, okay, let me tell you how to do things instead of let me help you build it.
I'm used to being a consultant in the bottle you're calling a workshop. So I've had a consultant, I've been a consultant, but it's always been in person with follow-up on Zoom. But I agree with you completely that you need to have in-person contact for the people to learn difficult things. I mean, people don't just change by having information. They change by doing things.
Okay. How large a group do you have typically? Like, is it 10 or 20 or?
This one was 8. And with 8, we were actually able to go through and whiteboard out each business. And the cool thing about like being in the room while other people are whiteboarding their business is you can say, oh, wow, that's a good idea. You're doing that for lead gen. Let me incorporate that into my business. And everyone's so open about like what they're trying to accomplish. And there's just so many ideas flowing.
Cool. Nice. Gosh. Well, we since I think the last time we spoke, or I spoke with you, we've definitely gotten more focused. We're doing tenants in common. So Judith, we're talking to Jason Bates, but we're putting an offer in on a place this week. We're partnering with John Pickell and Justin Pickell. So we're hoping that goes through. So we're dialing in, which is great. Now we're trying to focus on marketing. Like I said, we're trying to find our end buyers to begin with, and then feed them into where they get funding at certain banks that do TICs. So
the credit unions more than banks. The banks are still not up to it. They will. They'll catch on.
Yeah, okay. It's coming.
Awesome.
Yeah. And hopefully look for places that are duplexes or fourplex with extra land on them, and then it'd be add value on with another duplex or fourplex.
Here in California, because there's such a shortage of affordable housing, of any housing, affordable or not affordable, that you can build as many units as you have as ADUs, as long as there's space on the property to do it. So if we buy duplexes, then we can put 2 more units in the back and then sell them each as a separate tenants in common property. That's what is it that you want people to know about you that would help your business and help them access your wealth of knowledge?
I guess the biggest thing is I do offer consulting services. So my specialty is I do talk visionary. So, whenever you think of the visionary integrator duality, a lot of people are squarely in one bucket, but I straddle the line because I've been in the integrator world as a web developer, as building automations out for businesses for the past 15 years. But I'm also a visionary, and I can speak in a language that visionaries understand, and I know how to pull ideas out of their head. So a lot of people have, all these thoughts, these plans in their head. And I've worked with a couple of visionaries so far, and they've found it really helpful to just go through the exercise of like, I have so many things I'm doing for my business, but I don't know exactly what I'm doing. And so like building out a plan and gaining clarity about what are the things that can actually like drive the business forward. How can I just build some basic systems that can help me bring in a team or, automate some of it or start to scale? And a lot of people think automations is really boring, but even my visionary side loves the idea of automation just because it's such a time saver. And for businesses who hope to scale, like you could be automating all of the redundant, mundane tasks that you have going on every day. And that allows you to focus on so much higher level things and be able to, build that vision and lead your team and figure out exactly like for your team, what does that even look like? And a lot of that comes back to the systems of your business.
Yeah.
We're working with Sydney, who's part of your business. We couldn't be doing what we're doing without her. I mean, she thinks a completely different way from how we think. So I understand what you're saying about integrators and visionaries, because a lot of times I'm just amazed. I mean, everything you say to her, she feeds it back, and it's all in order. It's if you had all these shuffled papers, and she takes it back, and they're all in order, and you can understand everything. It's like, how did you do that?
Yeah, it's real. We would not be where we are now without her.
So thank you.
Then we have
bring her into our lives.
Yeah. And then the work team, that's going incredibly well. They're so knowledgeable. Truly not an internship, it's more of a partnership, which is really nice. We hope they stay on with us. So that's been going well. We are diving into KPIs, but it's hard to do it all because trying to get the business going and then monitor and make sure we're on target.
Yeah.
We need some work there. Yeah. So when you just sign up, how would we consult with you? What do we?
So I have a website, heathergrizzard.com, just my name.com. And it shows all the different options of how you could work with me. So I do hold office hours every Tuesday. So today, a little later today at 4 p.m. Eastern. But if that ever changes, you could see that on my website. And then I also have like a discovery call. I have a little bit of a shorter consult session. And then I have like a giant one. I'm calling it a clarity lab. Like I'll spend 8 hours in your business and help you build a plan for it.
Ooh,
that's quite an offer.
That'd be great. Wow. We're actually having office hours Thursday. Yeah. Very kind.
Yeah.
Wait, do you have a lot of people attend? Of course.
It depends on the week. And it's something that's like, if they have a specific question, they'll pop in, like they know it's available to them. But not everybody's going to have questions about their systems every week. But yeah. I don't think there's been any week where I haven't had anybody attend. So
nice. Huh. Gosh, we should come on the list and join that. Ask some questions. Right now, we're trying to figure out our marketing. We've talked to the guy who's doing exactly what we're doing, but he's a lot more scale in LA, and he gave us some good advice, but he's not starting out. He's been doing it since 2016, tenants in common. And so we're trying to figure that out and get some ideas about that. How, he mentioned going to, doing meetups, of course, but then going to local coffee shops or have a booth at festivals and really grassroots is what he said. which works out great for Judith, but not for me because I'm in Idaho and she's in the Bay Area. So, what could I do remotely, marketing wise, that could help? That's kind of where that's what I would like to know.
One thing April and I are doing, you'll see if you follow me on social media, is we're doing like these classes. So it's almost like a mini workshop where we just talk about one small topic, but it provides value. And then usually at the end, we do have like a small CTA of whatever we have going on. Usually it's our next workshop, but it's a way for people to get value, kind of see our teaching style, and then have the option to opt in and learn more from us. But I think that model works really well. You just have like there's so much in real estate, so much to learn for everybody.
Yeah.
And if you're looking at
somebody on YouTube?
We do it through Zoom, and we have like recordings that so we're using the recordings as our lead magnets, because we are doing it so specialized. It becomes like its own little lead magnet of like, oh, get started with ChatGPT, or what are agents, or like, just very small things. But if you think about everyone's journey, like that people who are just getting started in real estate, anything is a gold nugget to them. So yeah, you think about your business and like everything that you ladies are doing, and you could just narrow in on one, have a class on it, promote that class, have it be free. And then that's how you can build your list as well.
That's a good idea, because with the Orbit team, that's what we're doing. We're holding weekly meetings, and we'll go over very transparent everything we're doing. We share all the meetings we have together in Slack and when we meet with people. So and we don't assume anything. We start from very basic all the way through. And that's been really helpful. So we could just build off that, Judith. That would be a good idea.
We could do that, but we could do the same idea to attract buyers. So you think of people who are trying to get into buying their first home, you could do the same kind of sequence of classes, just what Heather said. That's a great idea. Thank you.
Yeah. Wow. Huh. So we're coming up with so what is the best way to get in touch with you? Is it Instagram, or you tell us?
Yeah, Instagram works. But the website has all the up-to-date information of what I'm working on and how to work with me. So heathergrizzard.com.
heathergrizzard.com, right?
Yep.
Nice to talk to you.
Yeah, well, this was great, as always. And, I was telling Jason Bates and Erica that this isn't done. I'd like to loop back and see what's happening in the next 6 months or so. Have you a guest again and find out how it's going.
Yeah,
I
feel like
it'd be great.
after the semester, it's going to be a completely different place that I'm in 6 months.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like it's all going really well. Good for you. That's great.
Thanks.
All right. I'll see. Turn this off.